What's up, guys? Yeah, Freddie needs to update that anyway, Chad. So,
Yeah.
yep.
The what?
What's going on? Welcome to the open forum for the Live Fishing Tournament League. I am going to go ahead and put the link in the chat. Please do not come up if you are not a member of the league. Like if you haven't fished in the league, please don't come up. But you may discuss in the chat. But we just want people that have fished in the league to have the on screen because we only have 10 spots. That's it. But anyway, welcome Stan, Chad, Daryl, and Chris and V. We're trying to come up. There's Fishing with Big Mike.
What's up, Mike?
And Clint Perry. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Appreciate that. And Sampy was first in. It won't let me click on it. I can't see it. I guess it went away. Anyway. River Rat, what's going on? Welcome
What's
in.
up, Bernie?
Daryl took up 4 spots. We're not going to Daryl tonight. He got enough yesterday.
Hey, I've lost some weight, guys. Give me a break.
He talks so much.
I didn't get to give him any grief yesterday.
Yeah.
Everybody else
Mike.
made up for that,
Well,
Chad.
what's up, Mike? Like I said, I just put the link in the chat for any angler that has fished in the league. If you want to come up and there's spots, come on up and we'll talk. But basically, the format of tonight, we're going to get right to business because it is a school night. We're going to talk about next year's season. It's never too early to plan, and we want to have a voting session at the Catfish Conference. So obviously, we can't talk about proposals and all that stuff at Catfish Conference if we got to vote too. So I've invited the hosts up here. Brian thinks football is more important, so he's going to watch football.
He can't fish. He can't host. All he can do is watch football.
What's even up with him anymore? I mean, you had to have a football episode for him to come up.
Right. You guys see what I deal with every week.
Man, feel bad for you. There's Chris and V. They got sound this time?
Can you hear us now?
Yep, we got you.
And
We'll even let you stay TikTok like if you want.
Nope. Are we TikTok? Like I know how to turn a phone, so
There you
we can
go.
do that.
Let's see. Mike said he's looking for a catfishing spot. Awesome. Well, hopefully the interest in the league isn't indicative of who is in chat. There's Chris Hooks and Hammocks. What's up, little fella?
Howdy, Mr. Lee.
Hey, what's up?
And we'll give everybody just a little bit to come in. If y'all don't mind, hit that thumbs up. It is a
12-hour tournaments.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm out.
15.
Hey, remember Catfish Bill? What's up, bud? Yeah, I'm out too.
Let's just go.
I think
Let's
there's
just
only
go
one
with.
host left.
I was saying, let's just go with 3-day tournaments. I mean,
There you go. Let's
every
just all
weekend's
quit our
fire.
jobs and just fish the whole time.
Well, I mean, I think I've not kept it a secret. I like longer tournaments. We drive a long way every time we've got to fish these tournaments.
Listen, we're not talking about the forum
Yeah.
right now. Okay? Slow your roll, little man.
I'm-
Slow your roll.
I got to get that in though.
Slow your roll.
Chris, I'm with you. I'm with you, Chris.
I can't. You decided to live where you live, not me.
No, I didn't.
What's up, Bugman? Yeah, man, that'd be great to have you in the league.
Buggy.
All right. Well, we can go back through them again, I guess. But I want to get started. I don't want to waste time. I have typed up 3 or 4 proposals for the league next year that I believe will improve the league and make it actually happen next year. Because actually, right now we're in danger of not having the league next year. And the first proposal will show you why. So here's the first proposal. And of course, this is a discussion. If you see at the bottom, no decisions will be made this evening. We're just discussing and having quality discourse among professional anglers and hosts.
So we encourage polite conversation,
Correct.
not anybody getting all worked up or riled when we're just saying certain things or putting various
Right.
thoughts into this.
Yes.
These are ideas. These are all ideas to try to
Right.
Well
improve everything,
said, Chad.
and we're all going to vote on them.
Well, I
Oh,
just know
did
how.
Chad say something good? I wasn't listening.
Well said, sir. 5-minute timeout.
Oh God, Kevin's now my favorite.
Okay. Maybe not 5 minutes, but 30 seconds at least. All right. So again, this is for polite discourse. This is cordial and is not meant to be a wino fest. If you start whining and saying, "Well, that's like this time of tournament," I don't care.
You realize we got Daryl here, right?
No.
Sorry, I
I
told you
believe-
I didn't get to say anything yesterday. Go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
I believe Daryl is in the right. He's got the right hat on today. He doesn't have one of them crazy ones on, so he's serious Daryl today.
That's
He's
right.
cabinet Daryl today.
Yeah.
All right. Here's proposal 1: member fees. The purpose is to offset the pricing of running the league. League hosts must have upgraded StreamYard platforms for the tournament stream to be effective. That price has increased almost 50% for the upcoming season. No lie. For the next season, it'll be $88.99 per month for those of us who have to pay monthly, which equals $1,067.88 per year per host. We had 4 hosts.
That on screen. It's not on screen if you're trying to put that up.
Huh?
Yeah, it is.
It is on screen.
It's not on mine.
That's
Okay.
weird. It's not on mine either, Daryl, but I see it
Yeah.
on the thing over here
It's on my
on
phone
the actual.
screen.
Huh.
Here.
I see
Is
it.
it on?
I see it.
I see it on YouTube. I don't see it on here.
Oh, okay. Well, are
Anyway,
you on?
It's why with this stuff. Okay.
Okay. Can everybody see that on screen in chat? Give me a thumbs up if you can. You should be able to.
That's
All right,
crazy.
anyway.
We can't see it.
So 68. So if you could pay yearly, which is what I was doing, it's $68.99 a month, and that saves you $240, $827.88. But it's still per year per host. And I was paying yearly when it wasn't $800. It was less. It was about $400.
Right.
And so Kevin will not be doing that. So
Chad
what
will
does
not
that?
either.
What does that mean? That means member fees are very important for next year. Also, awards at the end of the year equal around $600. That is including the winners' cup, the medals, engraving, shipping, etc. Member fees will help take care of both of these expenditures. Proposal that I propose: we have 2 different membership fees for the LFTL. This is based on a 40 angler participation rate. So that's about what we have right now. If it falls below, then these will have to go up. A non-voting member fee would be $75, and that covers all tournament entries and covers your whole team. So, like Chris and Telly would not have to both pay $75. Just one fee for one team. The second one is a voting member, $100. So this covers all tournament entry fees and entitles one team member, the captain, to a vote in the LFTL and will become a board member. You'll get to vote on things like league rules and regulations, tournament rules, styles, dates, format, etc., and any other future decisions. Like if somebody's causing drama, you can vote to have a vote to vote them out. Chat. But anyway, that is the first proposal. The floor is open for discussion. And that means in chat as well. So I see one thing right here. Bugman says StreamYard note when I get to cancel my script, they give me I know they give you a discount, but we're not basing it on that.
Well, and the discount was only for a certain number of 6 months. So by the time this
Right.
season's over, the discount will be over.
Correct. Chris, go ahead. Chris
Well, I was just curious. What if? So, like Telly and I sponsored this year.
right.
If we wanted to do that next year and be a voting member, would you consider that a conflict of interest? Because I could see where that might potentially be an issue.
Tell me the issues.
I don't know. I'm just I'm
Well,
asking.
let's play devil's advocate. What could they be?
Well,
I'll
Chris,
just maybe
Chris is giving the
somebody.
league more money, so you're listening to him more.
Well, there you go.
Ugh,
You know,
he had more
other people
experience with
that
those league
aren't
rules than I
sponsoring
did.
that are a voting member might feel like, maybe I am getting special treatment. I'm just throwing it out.
I got
there.
you. So that particular instance would be easy to overcome because you get one vote.
That's right. There you go.
So your vote doesn't count more than anybody else's.
Yeah, we just need an odd number of members to be on the board. Is basically all you need.
Bob and Doreen Fishing said $100 and a weekly fee. Woo.
I don't know about that.
Well, and if you think about it, this is where I'm coming from. Like, number one, if we don't do fees, we're not doing the league.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not doing the league. I'll just because I can't afford it.
I can't afford that part.
Yeah.
And that's where it's getting rough already. Like you said,
Yeah.
not only did the price go up, but people
We
like
don't-
me stay in. We do weekly shows as well, so we also
Mhm.
have additional seats that cost us even more money. So I'm making
Right.
like $120 something a month now.
Right. Yeah, and so this is the top thing, which gives you 4 seats only. And so this is the 4K, so we'll have the best streaming, everything. 10 seats with 5 backstage extra. So it is the best version. But again, we don't make any money off these streams. Maybe $3 is most I've made off the ad revenue. Now, if somebody super chats, of course, you make a little bit extra, but that's so rare nowadays on YouTube. People rarely, other than Clint. Thank you, Clint. I appreciate the $2. Let me know.
Yeah.
Thank you, Clint. I do appreciate it. But it
And
is
anybody
rare.
else that wants to give, you'll appreciate
Right.
it.
It is rare.
Yeah.
So let's go to the chat here. Let's see. Cool Cats member, thank you for being a member. Well, not complaining, but it costs me. That's not a full sentence.
Well, it costs
He's
every
got-
time.
Oh, here you go.
Hold on.
About $200 to fish tournaments,
Right.
gas, bait, travel. Yeah, no, I realize that.
Yeah.
He's just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's expensive. It's minimum $100
Well-
for me and Telly to go down to the Ohio River and go fishing. I mean,
Yep.
There's no question.
Yeah, and that's the same with an in-person tournament. You're going to pay $125, $200 to fish the in-person tournament. Then you have to do the gas and stuff too. So
It cost me $100 to go pleasure fishing today.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I fish every week anyway, so I don't look at that as expense. I just usually don't go during the week whenever there's a tournament. I go fish in the tournament and do it that way. So yeah, there is an expense, but I'm going to make that expense anyway, regardless. Either way, and I think most every serious person out there that's going to be in the tournament, they're going to fish every week to keep up with where the fish are anyway, regardless. And there's going to be less tournaments next year also. We'll be
correct.
talking about that.
We'll get to that. Stan?
And I was just going to say, when you're fishing the live local tournaments, you pay that fee to enter every tournament. This is only a one-time fee to enter all 12 tournaments, with the chance of, we don't know what the sponsorships and whatnot are going to end up being next year, but where that's a good deal because that's local tournaments. Like I said, you're paying that. I think it was $100 here to fish the local tournament every week. And
but
the
those
winners
tournaments
aren't
have
getting
bigger payouts
2,000.
every time.
Yep.
So,
Chris?
I think that it should be said to earmark the first dollars out of the fees to go to the 4 hosts, pay for the year up front for them.
Yep.
Get the most bang for your buck. I mean, that should be priority 1 right there.
No, I agree. The only other option, if we don't do fees, is to take the sponsorship money that would go towards the award at the end of the year and do that. Because if we don't have hosts, we don't have a league. And it is what it is. Cool Cats is talking about that he has a chance to win $25,000. I get it. We're not talking about that though. Stand 3, they do a cheap monthly entry for year-long events that could be an option. Do you know what he's talking about for that, Stan?
Yeah, he's talking about like the monthly tournaments online where it's a month long where you got to take the pitch
Oh,
like
yeah,
8
yeah,
yards from your kite.
Oh yeah.
So he's talking about something like that where if you can't put up this, for some people, $75 is, a chunk to put out right at the beginning. So I think
Mhm.
he was saying maybe you could do like I think he suggested maybe doing like a $10 entry fee per tournament if somebody can't do the yearly one or something along.
That's something we can talk about. I mean, this
I-
is all discussion, and it's all up for
Yeah.
discussion.
That's what it sounds like to me that he's
Mhm.
trying to say there. Maybe $10.
Here's the here. I just thought of something, and my purpose is to poke holes in everything. So don't get upset, guys. So the only thing with that is if you only fish 5 tournaments, how do you do the fee to make $75 if you only fish?
$15 a tournament.
Well, I mean, we haven't got to that other part yet, but I mean, it also doesn't allow us to pay for our StreamYard up front.
Yeah.
So those are two things just to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with we should do an upfront fee to belong. I mean, if it's just like call it a membership to be part of the live fishing league, it's a
That's what
membership,
it is.
yearly membership.
Yeah, if you
And
look
if
back at
and then if other people, if they want to do, and that's all up for discussion. Like I said, if people want to go, okay, and then let's for every tournament, everybody in it, let's do a $20 of a full
There you
payback of a tournament to, at least give out something that way. If the people want to do that and vote on that also, that's fine to do it that way. But I mean,
so
we
that's
got to
what
get
the
that
70
money up front for sure.
right.
For
So
these
that's
things.
what
I'm just saying that.
yeah. So the non-voting member, like you're paying a membership fee. You're not paying a tournament fee. So you're paying a membership. So you're a member of the league, and that covers the whole team for all the tournaments.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, and then the voting member is the same thing, but you get a say so in decisions. Chad?
Well, actually, Chris has got something to say, but then I know you have more points that I think will also be a
Yeah.
great topic about this to
Yeah.
understand some more about it because there's
Cool.
something I want to say then.
This Chris? Or
Person
this
V.
Chris?
Nope, me.
Okay.
Yeah, Kevin, Daryl kind of stole my thunder there, but yeah, it might be better to have a membership fee and a weekly fee
Yeah,
to get
that's what
into
Gene
it.
said too.
Yeah,
Gene
I
said
mean,
75 to 100 a year, go to the league plus 10 to 20 for a tournament.
yeah, and I mean that's not unreasonable.
Yeah. And if you just, and here's the thing it is, if you decide you don't want to be, if you don't want to send $20 in, but you still want to fish the tournament, you just aren't in line to win. Even if you're not in line to win the tournament money.
That's a
You know
good
what I'm
point.
saying?
I didn't
You
even
make
think
it an
about.
option. Yeah, you can make it an option. And if 15 people pay 20, let's just say 20 or $25, 15 people do it and 10 don't want to, then you just look at who wins and who did the payout to know who was first, second, third on the payout. I mean,
Yeah, we could do a membership. So we could have a third option. So you could have a membership fee, a voting member, and then you can have a tournament entry fee for
yes,
non-members. Yeah, I like that.
and make it option.
And so
But even for me, yeah, I mean,
no,
even,
like you can still run for points, but you're going to pay per tournament.
yeah,
Or if you don't, like if you know you're not going to fish 5 and you just want to fish one because it's fun, we have like a $25 entry fee, for that tournament. That's another thing we can do. All right, let's table this discussion. We'll come back to it if need be. Let me make sure I acknowledge people in chat. So Jeremy said it's only 75 to fish a bunch of tournaments all year. That's a huge bargain. And then
Yeah,
Cool
normally
Cat
it's
said,
60 a
I
month.
agree. I just pointing out things people would say. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like I know this is different than the in-person. A lot of the in-person tournaments, but like if you do this local club tournament, they do it every month. They're $60 to $100 a month.
Yeah, ours is I think 125. I think Jeremy can correct me if I'm wrong. All right, number of tournaments. The proposal is to cut the number of tournaments to 12 total. This includes the championship round. The top 5 scores will count, pardon the typo, towards the final. The purpose is to ease the strain on the hosts and the competitors and to even out the playing field for those who cannot fish more than the required number of tournaments to place well. We all know that if you don't get your, like this year, if you don't get your 8, you're not going to place well. So some people may feel that strain just to get 8. The league would host one tournament per month, starting in the month of March of 2025 and ending with the championship in February of 2026. There would be 11 preliminary tournaments, which the 5 best scores would count, and one championship round for the top 21 anglers, which would be your 6th tournament. This is just, I just threw these up based on a discussion me and Stan and Daryl had after the tournament the other day. We can change these up if we need to. So March would be the Big Dog of the Bank tournament, which is a new one that Daryl's doing. April would be the Fishathon. That's Chad's fundraiser for veterans. A lot of people like the Midnight Madness in May that Brian does, 12 a.m. to 5. June, the Chicken Tournament was a lot of fun. July, Catfish Wheel of Fortune or the Uno one. Those are both fun, unique tournaments. August would be Stand Night. September, the Monster Hunt. October, Keep It or Toss It, the one we just did. November could be King of the River, which is the one of Daryl's that he's going to replace the King of the Tennessee with. It's just King of the River, any river. And then December will be the Whisker Cup, which we're having next weekend. January will be Chad's Winter Blues, and February will be the championship. But again, those specific tournaments we would vote on and would be up for discussion. The floor is open.
Just one thing with that. I know a lot of people have favorite tournaments out there. In chat, I'm talking about. Like I was speaking with somebody about the Finesse tournament.
Mm-hmm.
People either love it or they don't. That's not meaning that Finesse tournament's going away. Brian can still do that Finesse tournament.
Right.
It just won't be part of the. There'll still be the YouTube tournaments and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
They just won't be part of the Live Fishing Tournament League.
Right.
They'll be on those other people's channels separately.
Right. That's another positive about it is it opens up more dates for other people to do their own content, do their own tournament. So we're not monopolizing the league or the time. Daryl?
I love the thought of going to 12 tournaments. I think that's awesome because so many people can't have tournaments because so many anglers are concentrating on this one tournament league, trying to stay up there and get points. I do have a big problem, and this is, like I say, because this is all up for discussion. With only 6, you have 12 tournaments and only 6 count total, and one's the championship round. So you really only got to have 5 that's try to separate these fishermen. You're going to have a lot of, I feel like, double people tied and all. I would rather see 8 tournaments count. That gives you 4 to throw away. I mean, if you do 6, half your tournament's going to get thrown away. So, you sort of dilute
if you did
fighting back to me. You're diluting it.
Daryl, if you did 8, you would have 3 to throw away, right? Because you have 11 tournaments.
Championship doesn't.
Well, I'm counting that, and that's a championship. Okay, you have 7 plus the championship. It's just, to me, they're not as important. It's sort of like football. If you throw away something that's meaningful. I mean, bowl games don't mean anything anymore because they're just sort of consolation. I would rather see 8 that meant something, and everybody's fighting it out to get there than to just do 6.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure with Kevin, that.
Yeah, and that's just
numbers, still being thought of. He was just trying to, right? We have 21 total tournaments now, and we're counting 8, right? So the percentage of trying to get people to fish in them is one of the things.
And I just think that gives you more incentive to fish them if you've got 8 to score with over total than 6. You're going to have a lot more drop off in participation if they only have to count 6.
Devil's advocate in that, though, is we have, how many tournaments have we had so far this year?
I don't care. 14.
14 or so already, and there's still a lot of teams that don't have 8 tournaments in already. So we've already had 14, and there's a lot of teams at that point that won't hit 8.
We get serious about it.
Right. That's what I was going to say, and that makes it more serious. So you have to get 5. And so you're going to have to fish 5 months out of the league year. So what the difference with this one is you can, like in November, October, November, you can fish 3 in a row, 3 weekends in a row and have half your tournaments, So, the reason I went with 5 is because most leagues, most tournament trails do half or right less than half. So if we have 11, technically we have 11 tournaments. So 5 would be less than half. I mean, I'm willing to go to 6, 7. I
Well-
think 8. I do think 8 is too many.
So,
I mean,
and I don't disagree with what Daryl said, but from my standpoint, if you're decreasing the amount of tournaments and the schedule that I work, it's going to be even harder for me to get 8 scores
Right.
because I won't
Right.
be able to fish there's not
Exactly.
enough tournaments for me to fish them.
Right.
So I like to doing the half thing.
Yeah. And that was the whole point of bringing it to half is, you got less to choose from now, so you have less that's required of you.
well, if we're doing that, I'm getting out. I'm just out.
Okay. See you later.
I love it. But so kind of bring the last discussion into this. This is what I was wanting to say too. Is when you get into the per tournament type deal, right? Is we want people to be a part of this. We want people to step up and fish. If we go to something like, the per tournament type deal, I know you guys have experienced this as well, but I've had days where people have, and it could be weather, it could be family, whatever, but I've had days where I've had 3 people on screen. We're trying to provide entertainment as well. And if they decide right before and then they don't pay, we're scrambling, right? Trying to.
Yep. And if we
that.
do have that per tournament pay thing, then one of the next points I'll bring up will have to be adjusted as well. So
Okay.
that being said, let's go to chat real quick. Any swag, including a membership fee, we can work that out. Freddie will help us out with that. I actually said something the other night about that. One tournament per month isn't bad. I say Uno instead of chicken, even though I got skunked. Greg's saying, hey, what tournaments in May or June? Let's see.
You're welcome, Stan 3.
The ones I put up there were Midnight Madness in May, and June was Chicken Tournament. So, but those are arbitrary. Those are just ones that were popular and people had fun doing them because we still want to have fun. So I think Chris had his hand up. Go ahead, Chris Smith.
Yes, sir. The one issue I have with the schedule overall is the most weighted tournament, the Whisker Cup at the end of the year, being at a time when, like those of us up north, Chris and I, the other Ohio teams, we're going to have to travel south to unfamiliar waters to fish that.
Right.
I mean, something to look at in the future is adjusting the calendar around to where, hey, look, the final one is October, June, something like that.
So we could do that. The only reason it is like it is now is to correlate with Catfish Conference.
Okay.
So the final tournament is 2 weeks before CatCon, so that when we do the Golden Whiskers, we can also present the LFTL awards. So that's the only reason is. But I'm down for. I'm not stuck on anything really.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to say anything against Chris, but if you guys also think about in the summer times when you guys bite is on fire, you catch 200 at a time. So we got to have a time where we're down here that we can actually try to catch up also. So you gotta
and that was kind of what I was thinking about is we it kind of evens itself out really, unless you want to travel like. Chris and Tilly are going to travel to everything. They got big money, but some people just can't do that.
Right.
But no, I get it, Chris. Chris Smith. That's something we can definitely talk about. The only thing is the season wouldn't correlate with the Catfish Conference, which is kind of cool. When you're up there, you kind of get the golden. We did it last year for the first time. We got the Golden Whiskers over, and then we did the LFTL awards, and then it was done. Everybody got their awards that day. So, Stan, why are you holding your son's trophy?
That says Oh well, the name's not on there, but the cup, the cup that stays there says Two Stands Fishing on it. So
And I do understand, Chris. Those of you up north, it's really cold and bitter, and we'll just have to think about that, and that's where the voting comes down, and it's going to come to majority rules. So it kind of incentivizes that $100 voting member thing, which helps the league type deal, and
You could cut a January one off and have 2 in 1, just where it wouldn't be quite so cold at one
That's-
time. Plus, it would give us a month.
Have
for
you ever- do you not-
stuff if you needed.
Do you not fish the Winter Blues tournament?
yeah,
You
but
talking
down here it rarely. I mean,
Do you
February
not
is
remember
our
last
coldest
year?
month.
look,
Yeah,
Last
January,
year, the
February.
Winter's Blue was like 10 degrees everywhere, including for you guys.
How can you ask me if I don't remember last year's Winter Blue? You can't ask me that.
Even James remembered. He was talking about it this weekend. It was 13 degrees down there on the Tennessee River.
Don't
All
ask
right.
me if I don't
Next
remember
proposal: time of tournaments. The proposal is all tournaments shall not exceed 5-hour time limit. Tournaments may, however, be less than 5 hours. Purpose for the safety of the anglers, and the main purpose is for the enjoyment of the audience. Tournaments are too long sometimes, especially if the fishing is rough that day. For instance, a day tournament could be 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the spring, summer, fall months, or 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is Eastern time in the winter. And the night tournaments could be 7 p.m. to midnight, or in the case of Brian B's Midnight Madness, 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. Discussion.
Boo.
that.
I prefer myself to 5 hours.
Boo.
I completely understand the hosts. I really do. I completely understand. You don't want to be stuck sitting in front of that computer for 6 or 8 hours. I get it. But
I would rather fish 6
when you're
hours
fishing,
minimum.
you only go fishing for 5 hours. Most people, we go out fishing, we fish all day.
Yeah,
So-
I'd rather fish longer, but I get it for the host and the audience. I mean, that's a long time to sit there at a computer screen.
It's mostly for the audience. I mean,
yes,
the hosts will cry about it, but it is what it is. It's not a big deal. But the hosts, we get a lot of comments, or at least I do. This is too long. I can't watch it, or blah 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 blah. So that's the only reason I brought it up.
well, with us, doing the amount of tournaments we do, you can see at the end with our analytics and stuff where it just by that 4th or 5th hour. So what we forget about the live fishing tournament league is just that it's live fishing. It's chat. We do it for the anglers are up there, but it's for what we try to get views with it. That's why people say, why don't you do more overnight? There's just not enough audience that watches overnight tournaments to to try to make it worthwhile. So but that's the big thing. When you go past, for anglers love it. The things that the anglers seem to love, chat is and it's just that's the big reason is that your numbers just drop off at that last hour and a half. But I agree. If you're angling, 5 hours is short because by the time you get out there, you get bait.
Yeah, time goes fast on the water.
Yeah.
It goes really
So when
fast.
you're not catching anything.
For a 9 o'clock tournament, like most people are leaving their house at 3 in the morning. They're leaving their house 6 or 7 hours before the tournament starts to get bait, to get there, et cetera, and then to only fish for 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
They get kind of so it's one of those catch-22s, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I would never want to see it go under 5 hours. I mean, it's just there's too much to get ready for to just fish for 5 hours, especially when you're trying to find those fish. And once you find them, you got an hour left or whatever. It's just
Can I play devil's advocate on that then?
Or 5 minutes.
It won't even take me that. So with that said, then quality needs to be there. We have to have better audio from people, and I get there's going to be times where there's wind and stuff like that. But again, if it
But
wasn't,
we've offered fixes for that.
yeah, well, yes, but if it was, and I have to thank James, and this is not a knock on anybody else on my channel this weekend. Everybody sat on mute almost all day except for James and the Swains came off and talked to me, right? we have to be able to have conversation because it's a long 5 hours, like you said, for us. So we need your support in this league to help us entertain the people that are coming in to watch you for hours fish, right? So
Right.
That's
Yeah.
true. I will agree with that. Like,
you help.
we can't have you live streaming, and I know
Ugh.
we're gonna he's gonna feel like I'm picking on him, but it's not just the one person. But you can't live stream on TikTok or be making a video on your own, and just ignore the chat and just sit there and stare at your poll. Like, we need you guys most of you are YouTubers in your own world anyway. So we need you to help provide the entertainment. And honestly, I believe that's kind of why we haven't gotten bigger than we are already, because it does get boring sometimes. Now, when the fish are on fire, it runs itself.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're switching back and forth, and it's crazy awesome. But like this past weekend, there were some times where it's like, yeah, everybody's commercial again.
The last 10 minutes yesterday was pretty exciting.
Yeah,
It really it was on
Yeah.
it happened on our channel too.
That's what I was about to say. Saturday, I felt like we had a really great show with Stan. All of us had pretty good audio most time, and we were all putting in things, talking about different things, and I thought it really went well. I thought it was pretty entertaining because everybody was putting in, even when we wasn't catching fish. There was a lot of back and forth, didn't you, Stan?
Oh, I agree. And, some of that was we started it right out in the beginning with joking back and forth and doing different. So it kept everybody kind of involved with that. So, and the audio that we were able to do that because just like they said, everybody had really, I even said that in the beginning. I'm like, wow, this is great. Like, I can hear everything's clear. I can hear you. That's a huge help.
Jody, Chris,
I agree.
Yeah, Jody, Chris, 3 stands, and myself. We were just sort of playing off of each other's discussion, and it really went fast. I was like, "Holy smokes, this tournament's over with!" It went that well, I thought.
I'm telling you, who was it? Was it Parker that told us about these first?
Yep.
Yeah, they were great.
These little foam hair curlers.
Freddie needs to sell those at CatCon.
Yeah,
They're all over my boat.
FOA hair curlers.
So here's some feedback from the audience. Jeff said you straight up need to have guests announce with the host. And, most of the times, and we'll get to another proposal in a minute, that's able to happen because people drop out. But if we have 4 full channels or 3 full channels, we can't fit another person in there to guest host. But I think that's a great idea, Jeff, and he's mentioned that before, to maybe send the link out to some people and say, "Hey, pop in when if you feel like it or whatever." That's a good idea. Greenwell said, "If I have to pay my attention, I'm gonna be on fishing, not entertaining the audience." Well, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But we're talking about the 6 hour versus 5 hour thing.
Well, we do need to remember.
Hang tight. Uncle Jeep said, from viewers' point of view, 6 hours max is my attention span. I do have other things I need to do and can't devote more than 6 hours. Also, my brain is drained of all trolling ability.
I get that too.
And I guess to go back to Greenwell, we're not asking you to entertain the audience, but our thing is, like, if we ask you a question, like, we need to be able to hear you, or you need to be able to answer, like, "Hey, Mike, what bait are you using? Or what rod are you using?" There's been some times where I've been talking to people and they're not even listening to their phone, like they're off doing something else or whatever, and it's kind of disappointing because we can't have a back and forth.
Yeah.
That's all.
And I'm not asking. And apologies if I wasn't clear about it, but I'm not saying you have to have 6 hours where you just don't shut up. Where you're
don't be Daryl.
Totally you're not just totally having a conversation with me the entire time, but we need that interaction with the anglers as well, right? I get that you're focused and I want you to be safe, etc. But usually we have 6 to 8, 9 people on there with us. We still need to be able to converse and make sure that us as hosts aren't running out of things to talk about if there's nothing going on.
Yeah, there's always something that we can all like. If a topic comes up, we can all have something to say about fishing. Like we're all pretty, good about that. I mean, we're all YouTubers, so if something comes up and you have something to say, just chime in for a minute, or especially if you're asked about something.
Well, one of the things that I've done, like I know Bobcat, when you do enough of these things, you know that the chat's going to have certain questions. How do I bump? Same thing with Mike Greenwell. I told Bobcat the one of the tournaments, I said, hey, if you don't mind today, I know that you're going to be fishing hard. When it's a slow period for you, if you could go over, I'm not taking away from your fishing time. Do it while you're bumping. Just kind of go over. So I asked people ahead of time, look, when it's slow for you, let me know and we'll talk about this then, or we'll talk about that then. Also, like you were saying, when chat is asking getting chat involved with it, we're not asking you to entertain, but when chat is asking questions, they get annoyed if we're trying to ask you or ask the angler and the angler's like gone. And we'll try not to. We all fish, so we know when somebody's trying to put rods out and this and that, or we know when to ask questions and when not to talk to people. But that if they're not available at all, we can't pick that out for ourselves. So it's tough.
Yeah, we'll take a few more of these. Is there any way to make the tournament longer, fishing longer, but the live covers 4 to 5 hours? Not without integrity. Like it's you'll always question if somebody caught a fish within the rules if they're not live. Yes, sir.
Now, that goes kind of to what Stan was saying. You guys as hosts know who you can have the best banter with, the best interactions with, and all that. Spinning the wheel's cool and all, but if you know who is going to make your channel a little bit better, who you're going to have those interactions with for entertainment, handpicking them's not a bad idea either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the downfalls of the wheel is it is the most random way to do it. But if you have like, let's just say for instance, you have Daryl, James, Danny, Stan, all on one channel. There's all your talkers right there. They're all that stream's gonna be great. There's gonna be a lot of discourse going back and forth. And
We're
then, I got Big Mike who goes and gets a Big Mac, and he comes back and goes, "Hey, I got a fish." I'm just picking with you, Big Mike, but y'all know what I mean. Like, and I think that may be something we look at as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, you can't listen to your phone, so we don't have to read chat. We can hear you guys. Yeah, you do great with it, James. Uncle Jeep said, I do like the ability of having a co-host drop in to keep conversations going. Most radio DJs have a co-host. Yeah, that would be great. You got to find somebody willing to come up. Still brought your rods and respond. Hashtag no wheel.
You can always put some of us talkers. It don't have to be spinning a wheel. It doesn't matter who channel we're on. You can put some of us talkers on each channel and let it go.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do moving forward. We'll make the best teams for the best entertainment.
Yeah.
And the wheel was fun though. I mean, we did it for fun, but you learn again. We're doing this whole thing. We're trying to make it better. We're learning what works and what doesn't. All right, we already did that one. Tournament registration. Here's the hot topic that nobody wants to talk about. Proposal. Registration will be open for each tournament 1 month prior to the tournament. Since we're only doing one a month, if we accept it. The week before the tournament, a Facebook group will be created with the participating anglers and their host. So the host will make the Facebook group for their anglers a week before the tournament. It will be the responsibility of the angler to read and understand the rules of the tournament. If an angler does not have Facebook Messenger, not if they don't have Facebook, if they don't have Facebook Messenger, it is the angler's responsibility to get the information for the tournament. If an angler drops out of the tournament after being assigned a host, that angler will receive a warning. If it happens again, the angler will be disqualified from the next tournament. If it happens a third time, the angler will be disqualified from the league for the remainder of the season. Hang tight. Don't jump on me yet. The purpose, while we totally understand that life happens, like death in the family or work or sickness, etc. It is difficult to plan the tournaments when anglers drop out at the last minute, or even worse, they never communicate that they're not going to fish after they've signed up. The warning covers the life moments. Everybody needs a second chance. The second offense covers the life moments. You get another chance, but we have to do something to discourage it. The third offense is just to say, hey, we still love you, but maybe this isn't your year. So let's go ahead and you do what you need to do and try again next year. The proposal should be easier to handle if we adopt the tournament number proposal, as there will be less tournaments. Jump on me. Go ahead.
How dare you? I don't-
I really got nothing to say about that because we're not hosts, so we don't know how much that affects you guys. But I'm sure it affects you a lot. So that's you guys. That should be y'all's decision.
league or not, I can say this because I'm the oldest tournament host here. I mean, it honestly, when you have, and I've done it to where I've had tournaments that have went to a 4-day tournament, right? If you've looked at my couples tournament that I was doing, I made that into a 4-day tournament because I had so much interest, and then I ended up having days where couldn't even fill half a screen and nobody was saying anything, and then halfway through the tournament, you're like, oh man, sorry, something came up. It's like, okay,
The bed was warm.
yeah, the bed was too warm, and you made the tournament too cold. I don't whatever, and you had 8 people lined up or 9, and all of a sudden you're down to 2 or 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stan, you remember the very first one we ever did? First day, it was only 2 of you or 3.
Yeah, and this was new for all of us, and we couldn't find parking spots and stuff, but we still kept trying to check in and pop in and out.
Yeah.
But we still made it. And what this is talking about, even like this past weekend, I couldn't finalize the score sheet because we had people dropping out at the last minute. So we've got to have the score sheet shut up with everybody's names.
And I will say, just in case they're listening, all valid reasons.
Oh yes.
Yeah, we're not angry at you.
And we're only talking about during the last week. We're not talking about you signed up for it and 2 weeks out you realize something happened. It's the and if there's an ice storm or other things like that obviously we understand. But it's there's a lot. There's always last minute cancellations and basically trying to get the score sheets and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And have it set up right. It's hard to switch. We can't just switch. You think, oh, we'll just switch people off to then that's the score sheet's got to be redone. There's different other things like that that need to be taken care of too at that last minute, and it's tough.
Yeah, we're not talking about weather or nothing like that. We're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, I've had, and I'm not going to name a specific tournament or whatever, but I've had somebody like Chad said, like the morning of, hey, I'm not fishing, or the day before, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. It's like, I get it, stuff comes up, but I mean, it's not. If it's one time, it is what it is. I mean, I had to back out of my own tournament 2 weeks ago, the Taming New Waters, because I had to work. I got called into work. It is what it is. So but it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened but one time. But what we're talking about is we have some people. Hey, what's up? We have some people that that have backed out several times. So I think this will also be better because if we adopt the which we have to, if we adopt the league fees, people have skin in the game at that point. I think what the main thing is, it's easier to back out if you don't have skin in the game. Daryl?
I've got one thing that I'd like to, if we're going to do that, amend it with. What is that? Anyway, the one thing I'd like to talk about is weather, because here's the thing: I don't want somebody to get a ding because of weather, and then they go, "Okay, I can't afford another ding. I know we got waves that's 3 foot high, but I got to go out here and."
All right, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say it again, and I'm not mad. I'm just gonna say it again because I wasn't clear. Obviously, we're not talking about weather.
Okay.
We're not We're not talking about weather.
Yeah, we're
Kevin,
more talking
Kevin.
about it's Friday night. We have a tournament set up for 8 a.m.
Right.
that somebody decides, nah, I don't want to
Something
fish.
came up.
Something
Something
came up.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're not talking about one time. We're talking about 2, 3,
or
4,
three. Yeah,
5,
multiple
whatever.
times.
So once again, we're not talking about weather.
Yes.
Are we
We
talking
want
about
everybody to
what?
be
Hey,
safe.
Hey, Kevin, what about if it snows? Sorry.
I know Chris is about to say something stupid. Why am I doing this? Go ahead.
What if the weather's bad?
Jerk.
He gone.
Get in there and fish. Hey, Kevin, on that note, if you are doing that with the cancellation thing, if you're going to go with a per tournament fee, you're going to have a policy for refund also. Like if they notify you the week before or whatever,
No refunds. There you go.
there you go. Works for me.
No, but that's a good point though, because people will ask that. That's great. It needs to be in writing, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yes, sir. I believe that you are correct. All right, let's go up here and missed a lot of chat. Let's see. Fisherman said overall it's a cool concept if you have two divisions like East and West, and East is slow and West will be action packed, vice versa. That's advanced. One day we'll get there.
That's beyond us.
The wheel had never been fun. Sounds fun. I agree with this rule. What about coming in or leaving earlier? Well, we kind of already have a rule like if you don't fish the majority of the tournament, you don't get points for it anyway. Not talking about weather. We cannot control the weather. I think that was before I ranted.
yeah.
It was.
Steam Tan Team Daryl thought duration throughout the.
What did you just say?
I don't know. Heck, a hurricane just happened. I think that was after my rant too. Bobcat said hello.
Wait a minute. I thought we was
Bobcat outdoor.
rant. Did you get a rant?
Oh, I think Cool Cats understand it's not about weather.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, something came up Friday night, like my bar tab. Well, I'll be honest with you guys. There's been times where I've signed up for stuff, not necessarily tournaments, and my bed just feels really good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I just don't feel like because fishing's hard. I don't feel like getting up. And so I think having skin in the game will definitely help out with that. Having less tournaments that you're going to sign up for, all that stuff. Stan said, so I think everyone's pretty dedicated when we're out there. Leaving early is a problem. Leaving early is a problem. Do you understand what he's saying? So I think everyone is pretty dedicated when we are out there. Leaving early is a problem.
Leave early.
Isn't a problem. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think he's talking about like let's say I'm just using him for an example. My granddaughters do softball. So it's there's no control over that. So he might be able to make 4.5 hours out of that tournament.
Yeah.
So if somebody has to leave a half hour early or something, as long as they're
Right.
fishing
It
the
is what it
majority
is.
of that tournament.
Yeah. I don't have a problem.
I won a tournament
Yeah.
because somebody had to leave an hour early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
Well, I
saying.
mean, and just like yesterday, there was weather that hit down there in the Tennessee River Valley, and the Swains had to get to a dock, and they got off there, and then had to stop fishing a half an hour early. Again, it was nobody's going to say anything about safety and all that kind of stuff, especially when it's about weather.
All
Right,
I'm saying,
absolutely.
Chris, if you call me and say, "Hey, man, the weather's bad here in Indiana on the river," I'm going to look it up, and it better be bad.
I was going to bring that up.
It better be bad.
I was going to
Anything
bring it
under
up
70 degrees is bad up here.
because you know somebody's going to do it.
New question: how about some random person that wants to fish on a day and was not registered? Would you allow them to just fill a spot?
I mean, that you did that this year. You said they didn't have to be part of the
But we didn't have fees.
right. That's true.
I mean, if we had a day where it's like you keep playing devil's advocate, I'm going to do it to you. So maybe we had 8 people, in Mississippi area or Tennessee area got heavy winds and rains, but yet somebody wanted to just jump on and fish for fun for a spot, not to be part of the league, but to fill some of the screen,
Entertainment.
the entertainment part of it. They just would not be a part of the actual league points at that time.
Sort of like
They-
Bob was going to do before he had to go to the funeral.
Right.
Mhm. Right.
I mean, you could take
Well,
that.
I mean, that wouldn't have worked with Bob because technically they had already paid. They would have already paid the
Yeah.
fee for the tournament.
Yeah.
So maybe we can think about that. Maybe like you just that's where the tournament entry thing can come in. Like you just
Yeah.
cash at me for $20 and you can come on in.
Or
Something
it
like
could
that.
even be something as if you Stan and Brian are hosting, or me, you, and Stan are hosting, and Brian wanted to. Never mind that's a bad joke.
But that would also keep down, and just like playing devil's advocate again, that would keep people from. I'm just gonna wait till somebody drops out. I'm gonna get in for free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just unfortunately, it's the world. Let's see if it doesn't count towards points, just filling in for fun. Yeah, I think that's cool because like Ray wanted to come up and he don't care about points, but we still have to run StreamYard no matter what. So maybe we can just think about that and come back to it. Big Mike says, if we have to pay to play, we're gonna have weekly payouts. Nope. The pay you missed the first part, Big Mac. Maybe you're getting a Big Mac. But the pay to play is to cover the cost of running the tournament league. So now if we have enough sponsors to do weekly payouts, that's fine. But and I would even be open to making a concession. If you bring in a big money sponsor, then you get your membership free. And we'll just take a percentage out of that big money sponsor. That'd be cool.
Is he talking about things like I'm just going to throw out there like monster route holders like Steve? So is he talking about like if you win that tournament, the $200 there, like you get? It's nice. I thank you, Steve, for doing that.
he meant tournament payouts. Like since we're paying to fish a tournament, do you get like 80% payout type thing?
Well, I think what he was talking about was like what I was talking about at the beginning, but I don't think you really understood what I was saying was after we paid that, could we do a pre-entry fee to be able to do a payout? It's like, so all paid in, we could all give $25 if you wanted to, but if you didn't want to, then you're not part of that payout.
I'm down with it. I'm leery about handling money like that.
Well, that's what I didn't know if you wanted to do that or not. Or
I'm down with doing it. We just have to. We would have to be serious and elect a treasurer and have somebody that's responsible for that. So if money came up missing,
where does YouTube stand on that? I mean, is that something you looked into? Is YouTube going to have an issue with that?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
All that had
Bob, I muted you because you got a popping sound going on. Hey.
I wonder what it is. You still?
Yep.
That sounds horrible.
The monthly ones have some big pot. Yeah, I mean, so there's nothing really keeping, even this year, there's nothing really keeping you guys from doing a pot outside of the league. And maybe that's the way to do it. It's like, you paid your dues already, and then, there can be somebody that signs up for a tournament, say, hey, I'll handle the pot this week. If you guys want to do that. And that way it's not on the hosts.
Yeah. And not everybody, it could be left to the individuals.
Yeah, so in the Santee, yeah, exactly, Chad. They're in the Santee Lakes Catfish Club, they have call outs. And so like Daryl would call out Bob and said, I'm gonna beat you this week for $20. And so if he beats him, then Bob owes him, he owes Bob $20. So you can make it whatever you want.
Yeah, there's a lot of apps already in place where, I mean, you just sign up for the app and you can create your own event, Fish Donkey and all those.
There you go. Well, maybe when we have this membership system, if we elect to have it, that can be somebody's thing,
Yeah. And they do. If we have the score sheet, so it wouldn't be any. So if let's say Daryl, Stan 3, Bob, whatever, 4 or 5 people, they could just go off our score. It's not something that we would have to track separately for them. The
Yeah.
results of this of all the channels together is already on the score sheets that we have. So
Yeah.
Just like the bowling alley, the side bets have nothing to do with them. Yep.
I got a side message just so you know. The Skunk Master has said he messaged the wrong person and said, "Do not give the money to Chris or Chad." Oops, wrong person.
What is Dom in here? Dominique's in here? I didn't see him.
So Stan 3 said you pay $15, $5 goes in the end of the year pot, 10 for the monthly payout. Oh, because there's only one tournament per month. That's cool. But again, I think somebody needs to be handling that.
Yeah.
Maybe through an app. Hang on a second.
Stan might be the person because he's familiar with it.
Anna's watching some movie and there was a giant gasp like someone was choking. I was like, was that you? I was about to run out of here and resuscitate her. I don't want to see host get banned. Yeah, me neither. So anyway, yeah, so that's up for discussion. We can talk about that. So yeah, that was the last thing. And again, it's not to going back to the original proposal, the tournament registration. Like, we just want people to be more responsible and courteous of other people's time. That's all. If you have a legitimate something, like unfortunately Chad had to go to a funeral, Bob had to go to a funeral, you can't help that. You have to be a decent human being and go to those things, and fishing is not our number one priority. So those are the things you understand. But if we're talking about, something came up, or even if I got called into work, it's like, 3 times, it gets a little old. But that would obviously be something that you'd have to take into account. Like there's no black and white to that, is what I'm saying. There's always a gray area. And so if you have someone that's just like constantly not communicating, and communication is the biggest thing. Really, I think all of us hosts would be okay if somebody just communicated.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, I'm not going to do it. Like I'll give you an example. Clint from Circle Hook Productions, fantastic communicator. He signed up for all the tournaments. Said, hey man, just take me out the rest of them because this is the second one I've had to drop, and if I can do one for sure, I'll enter it. No big deal, man. Not a big deal. So that's all we're asking.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm still waiting on a reply from somebody from 2 years ago if they're fishing or not.
Hey, Chad, I'm not fishing.
Thanks. About time you tell me, Kevin.
And that
I'll
was
take your spot
the
if,
last
nobody else.
proposal that I had. So, other proposals? Anybody have anything else they want to discuss? Again, we're not, like it says on the bottom, we're discussing things. No decisions will be made this evening. We're just trying to get people to think about it. I'll be honest with you, the only one that has to pass is the membership fees. We have to figure out how to take care of our hosts. The trophies will come. I'm sure the league will take care of that. They took care of it almost this year. It's almost done. But we really need to devote soon on that league thing, the league memberships. At least by CatCon. Well, actually before CatCon, because CatCon is too late. We need to have our sponsors in place. We need to have our schedules in place. Because after CatCon, the first tournament's the next month.
And I want to advocate for it too, for you guys on this, whatever happens. But there's a lot of work that goes into this. We're not trying to get rich off this, guys. We're not trying to quit our jobs and retire, or get some kind of fancy new suit for Kevin.
That's not the LFTO. That's the Golden
That's
Whiskers.
not. Yeah, that's the Golden Whiskers, right? But
we are Catch the Finger pays for that.
Yeah, we are giving a lot of our time. Yeah, we've enjoyed it. We've kind of been trying to grow the online tournament stuff for several years into something special, and we want you guys to be a part of it. But I'll be honest, it's taken my toll on me now. And I told Kevin, I'm like, I'll be honest, I'm keeping StreamYard through the end of this for you, but I don't think I can do it next year. When you're looking at $120 plus a month, it
And
adds up.
that might take out your show too.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm looking at other stuff maybe for that.
Yeah, and I don't have a show, so there's no reason for me to have StreamYard unless we're doing this.
Exactly. And I don't want people to think it's because we're trying to, make money and get rich and retire off of this stuff. It's just, like you said, the super chats, they're a thing of the past after certain people kind of, did their thing and it went away. We're still here trying, but we really make $1.25 to $3 a tournament off of views, guys. So it's not helping us too much. But
Maybe some money is necessary so Chad can afford shirts with sleeves.
I'll stop it.
Now, if we were trying to make money, it'd be $300 a person.
No.
Must be lucky they didn't raise my StreamYard. Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
They didn't raise mine yet either.
Go
They
check
raised
the
mine. I
billing.
canceled it already.
Yep. I have 230 days until my price goes up. So,
Oh,
dang, Bob, you got all kinds of issues.
I'll jump out.
I don't know
You're
what
fine,
it is.
Bob.
It's
We'll
horrible.
stay muted. We'll just look at you.
I love his pretty face.
Go ahead.
One thing I wanted to bring up that I think, and this has got to do with the current, and it was even a little bit confused with you the other day, is that the championship tournament, which is the last tournament, is the 7th tournament that is counted.
Ninth.
So everybody, just where everybody knows, we
Ninth.
count 6. Do what? I'm sorry, 8. Yeah, I'm used to. Yeah, we're counting 8, and then the championship one is 9, right?
Correct.
So I just want everybody to realize that because there's been back and forth with that a lot. So
No, it's not been a lot.
Yeah.
Come on. You're so
well, no, I'm not talking about on here.
It's been a long time.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about.
Anyway.
Well, to be honest, I thought it
Do
was.
you know
I
who I
thought that
talked to?
it was
Do
an
you know
8th
who I
tournament.
talked to? You absolutely don't know who I'm talking to, so you don't know who else has been talking
No,
about.
it's no. In all reality, yeah, it's been. It is the 9th tournament, but there was discussion about it being the 8th. You're right. No, it is a 9th tournament because once you type in the formula that I was given, it does add extra points, even if you've already got your 8. So yeah, and that will continue for next year. So like if you fish, you have to fish 5, and that will be your 6th one if we choose the 5 tournament format. Is what Daryl's saying.
Yeah.
And that goes
Current-
back to the fact that that's in February and that one's weighted heavier than the others in the formula. So, yeah,
Hit the Northerners.
that one makes it tough.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So a lot of people saying StreamYard's done for me, never use it. Been 8 turns qualifying you for the yeah, you're right. It always has been. But what wasn't clear is that the last tournament, I explained it, and which was wrong. I explained it as it was a chance to improve your score, your 8 top scores, but it's not. We went back and looked at the formula, and I guess I could change it, but I kind of like it. I know Chris doesn't, and the northern
No.
people.
Not at all.
But
I mean, really, I mean,
the
look
9th
at-
tournament it adds an extra. So if you win it, you can get an extra 200 points to your score.
Well, because then if you had it the other way, it wouldn't matter. Like,
Right.
it wouldn't have any importance. Why would you fish all year? It wouldn't. There's no. You need to play off the Super Bowl, the whatever.
Right. I get what Chris is saying. It's like the worst fishing month for him up there. So I
Maybe
get
ice
it.
fishing. Maybe ice fishing up
So,
there.
yeah. So that's
Right.
something we just have to discuss. I mean,
You know,
I don't think every rule is going to be good for every person, and I think Chris and V understand that totally. And just like if we were to change something, then someone else is gonna affect someone else differently. So we just have to go with what the majority rules on things when we vote. And it's not going to be a dictatorship anymore. We're going to let the crowd vote on it. And if you're a member, then you're a voting member, you get to vote. And that's just how it's going to have to be. Because again, you can't, and never will make everybody happy with the decisions you make.
You got to pay to play and pay to say.
Mike Sampson said, "I'll send you my membership fee now." Sampy is ready, boy. That's another thing we got to discuss. We really got to look at the scale. I know the scales for some people have been hit or miss. Miss V, what's up?
I have a suggestion on the championship tournament,
Sure.
the one in February, because a lot of these people that have fished consistently have consistently fought to get those eight scores up there to make the championship. You need to lower the amount of people allowed in the championship, and out of those top 10, the winner is the winner. They fought to get there and taken 21, and then someone that fished 6 tournaments and can take it from people who literally did all 8. And that's not just a northern thing. That's unfair to everyone that has fought to get those 8 scores up.
I hear you.
I see
Let
that.
me check something real quick.
I see that.
I'm checking the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so number 21's only done 5.
Yeah, it's just take the top 10 who made it to the championship,
7,
and those 10 fight it out for that number 1 championship.
I see that.
7.
In the future, of course.
In the
because,
future,
Well,
I'm just saying.
and I could consider that at the end of the season. We'll consider that because several of these people that are at the bottom of 21 have other tournaments they're signed up for. So they could possibly have 8. And if you fish 8 and you just happen to place better in those 8 than I do, I really don't think it's fair if I don't get to go in just because I didn't have as great a day, but I fished the required amount. If that's the premise you're going off of.
No,
But
I'm going in the top 8 who fought their butt off to get, they got their scores. I mean, it's just like a 6-1 and, Ohio State team, 6-1 Michigan team. You both make it. I mean, one may not get to go to the bowl. I mean, it is what it is.
I see what her point, top 10.
No, I get it. She has a valid point. But at first, you based it off of people that didn't fish 8 tournaments.
Well, I mean, in the 21, there are some that do. And I would say that would be completely unfair to lose a tournament to somebody who didn't even fish all 8.
That's what I'm saying, Miss V. And, in the most respectful way, we still have 5 more chances for them to get their 8. And what I was saying is based on what you're saying. If there are people in the top 21 this year that don't have 8, then your point is perfectly valid. Like they didn't even fish 8 tournaments yet, they made the top 21. But if these people, No Real Loss, Team Amish, Tony Harrison, Muskrat, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's it. There's 4. If they are signed up for a couple more tournaments, if they get their 8, then that point's not valid, is what I'm saying.
But then the top 10 should be based on the scores, obviously. Okay, that person came in. If someone comes in first consistently, but they have the same score, a lower score just because they're both, they made the ones with the higher points should go. The top 10 highest points.
So instead of saying
the official rate tournaments,
I get what you're saying. You just want to lower the number. You're not worried about the 8 tournaments. You're saying that you just want less people in the championship.
Yes.
Correct, because and then it shouldn't be based on a point system. That 9th tournament, it should be based on this is the championship. Whoever out of those 10 that make it, get it. That's it.
Well, but Kevin, I just had a thought about that too. If say like Bobcat there, I mean, sitting up in first place most of the year and all that. You're taking 21 teams. Say he gets skunked. Sorry, Bob, just an example. Say he gets skunked during that tournament. Someone that goes, whoever, say someone middle of the road finishes first, and they get an extra 100 points, and they move way up, top 3, top 4, even though they were sitting middle of the road. I mean, that's a lot of weight. That's weighted. I mean, they could
Yeah.
possibly.
That doesn't just affect
That's a-
northern people.
That's
That
a lot of
affects
points
everyone.
for.
That
Right.
affects
So
everyone.
I was with you, Miss V, until that point. So I'm with you that you only take the top 10, but erasing all the points and just basing the championship off of one tournament
No.
nullifies the rest of everything else.
Yeah, I think
So,
straight top team.
so I agree with how it's currently set up. Like, it's an extra tournament, but you're still like, yeah, Bob could not do as well, but because you get extra points, he could still place top 3, or Team Thompson, who's 10, even if they win 200 points, isn't going to, and everybody else gets 100, they're not going to be first place. If you look at the scores, there's no way, if people are as consistent as they've been for the past for the next 5 tournaments, there's no way that the bottom one, even if they win, the top one skunks, would win the tournament, could get up to the top. It's not.
Okay, maybe keep the points then. Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
I see what you're saying. So you're just saying less people at the top. I get it. Stan's been waiting. Hold on one second. Go ahead,
Well, all
Stan.
I'm going to say, all the only reason I'm saying anything about that at all is the reason we did that was so that there was for the channels. If you can't do 10 people, it'd have to be 8 at the most, or 15, 16.
That was just an example. I'm just make it
you got
harder
to-
to get into the championship. It'll also keep people fishing the tournaments.
This is what we got to remember. It's live fishing on YouTube. It's for the audience. It's for chat. So that's why it's a lot different than just fishing a regular tournament. So that's all. That's the
So
that's one of the other things.
Before I let Daryl speak, so the reason we have 21 is based on. So this whole thing is based on Twisted Cat, and they took the top third. They take the top third of their anglers who points to the championship. Now they have about 200 people fishing, so their top third is a little different than our top third. Right now, I was hoping that we would have more than 40 anglers fishing, so that top 21 wouldn't be such a large group. But right now, top 21 is over half of our membership. So I totally agree that making it a top 10 or top 12 or something like that would be more challenging to get to that spot based on our current enrollment. Go ahead, Daryl.
I'd like to make a suggestion on changing the point system in the last tournament to say, okay, if we're going to have top 21, and let me explain this totally out. Instead of, if you skunk, you only get 100 points, to make it fair, because all of us are in there. First place gets 21 points. Second place gets 20 points. 30. You see what I'm saying? And then if, like, let's just say Bob does skunk, and I know we're using you because you're at the top, then he doesn't lose. In other words, he doesn't get beat by 100 points to knock him totally out. He would get only 1 point added to his score. You see what I'm saying?
Good idea.
Yeah.
It's just inconsistent with the rest of the tournament. It doesn't make sense.
But it's a championship. Who cares?
Yeah, but then
It's a totally
Yeah,
different deal.
that's it.
It's a
It's a
championship.
championship. It's different.
Daryl, what about-
I don't agree.
What about somebody
I
that's
don't
not
see
in
why
the
not.
top?
I guarantee
What
you
about
everybody-
somebody? Why would somebody fish then that's not in the top 5 if they can only go up the one? There'd be no incentive for them to fish it'd be your top people to fish. There'd be no incentive. If they can only go down one spot, well, then that's second and third place is already going to be determined like that.
Yeah, but if first place skunks, they just get 1 point. So and then the third place guy gets.
It's arbitrary though, because really you're only
He gets
separating people by 1 anyway. A skunk is a skunk. I mean, really, you should really get 0 points if you skunk. But the way the system is set up is it keeps you competitive if on a 100-point scale. But if you catch 1 fish, you're still only within 1 point. First and second place has always been 200, 199. I mean, we're not talking about big leaps to begin with. Someone that's been first the whole time, like Bob and Brandon, should be able to not skunk and find a fish in the championship.
They've skunked the last two tournaments.
It is what it is. That's life. That's fishing. We also want to keep it entertaining so that we're not trying to give participation trophies here. Like, I mean, if you're on that day, you're on that day. I think we should hold off on the points thing until the whole year is over with, because this is the first time any of us have seen this formula. This is the first time we've tried it. It's worked for Twisted Cat for years and years and years and years, and they all love it. He keeps using it every year and every year. So I think we should wait until we at least use it 1 year to decide if we're going to change it. Now, I'm all for talking about the 21 because I do think it's a lot more than we need. But again, it was based on I thought we were going to have a lot more anglers.
Okay. Good work. Thank you.
Yep. There's Robert, California.
Now, like Kevin, I'm looking at the scores now, and in the current format for the final, like right now, if the top 12 teams, if Bobcat skunked, my bad dude skunked, and the other top 11 teams didn't skunk, they would all pass him and put him in 12th. Yeah, that's tough. That's a lot of weight on one tournament.
Yeah. That's why I was talking about doing the point system differently. It's a huge.
Like I said, I think we should go through it first. I'll talk to Alex and make sure that was what he meant it to be and figure out the theory behind it. But again, I just don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction and just change stuff without really knowing the theory behind it and understanding why things are the way they are. Because that's when you start making everybody mad, because we were upset or we don't like how it could happen. So let's hold off on that. Let's table that conversation, and I'll get with Alex and see what his theory was behind that. Stan 3 said, if I didn't win the last tournament, I would have lost the whole thing last year. Yeah, last year was just unorganized. We were just doing what we could do. We also started off with like Sharina with the tournament and all kinds of different stuff. So,
yeah, but that was the top guy who wins it all too, also, and it was just a trophy. So
yeah,
that was a totally different deal.
This is the championship. It should have a lot of weight. See that you just got different opinions, and I think all of them are valid. And I want to hear all of them, and I want us to be able to talk. But I also want to make sure that we understand exactly why things are the way they are, and then we'll have more to think about before we make a knee-jerk decision. So you guys, some of you are talking about changing the point system for this year. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I'm talking about future. No, I'm talking about future. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I just want to make sure what you weren't talking about this year.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we don't do something that's so heavy weighted like it is this year. I mean, to me, the championship is very heavy weighted towards. I mean, I've never seen like in racing or anything where the top guy could go all the way down to, even in racing, way down if he didn't, if he finished last or whatever. So it's just,
I'm gonna do a little
way overhead. It's way heavier than it should be, I think.
So if no room.
So for example, if we don't find a way to finish this, we're going to drop from 6 to, assuming everyone ahead of us fishes it in the top 21. Yeah, I mean, we'll drop to 21st. I mean, I don't really care, but that's just an example.
Well, let's play that example out because I want to make sure we're not just thinking. Hold on a second, nobody talk. 200. Let's say you get 100, Chris, and let's say
I'm saying we don't fish it. That's 200. A skunks at 100. That's a 0.
Okay. 0. If No Real Loss wins it, they still won't pass you, so you will not go to 21.
Yeah.
Assuming they
that-
don't fish any more
Right.
tournament, accumulate any more points throughout the
Right.
year.
Right. So I want to make sure that we're saying what. So let's not even count them. Let's count Northern View's got 8. There's 16th. So if they win it,
Well,
yeah, they'll go. They would go to the top
Well-
for that.
Kevin, just
If
look at
everybody else got a 0.
any sport out there. The regular season gets you to the championship. So you could have the
Mm-hmm.
perfect undefeated season, make it to the first round of the playoffs, lose your game, you're out.
But I get it.
It gets you there, and you get the better. Like if you're the 1 seed going into the playoffs, you play against the low seed. That's what you
Yeah,
better
you're
get.
talking about basketball now, though. That's just
Basketball, football, any of the sports.
I'm
like
talking about
that.
anything that has point systems. You got to put not playing a game. It's like
That's not
like
okay.
racing and stuff like that.
I see what both sides. I really do. I see that someone that's been consistently winning all year can make one screw up and they can drop significantly. I get that. Is it fair? Well, that's how it's formatted this year. Should it be fair? That's for us to decide for next year. But then I also get Stan's point. It's like, yeah, you made it to the finals, but your record doesn't matter no more once you made it to the finals. Like in basketball or even the NFL, you make it to the playoffs. Nothing matters now. Only the playoffs matter. So I get it. I get both sides.
Yeah, I was just talking about in a point system,
Right.
Basketball or football.
But that's the same. What he's saying is this the same concept. Like once you get to the top 21, once you get to the championship, the rest of the scores in theory don't matter as much. But,
If you're in first, you still got the advantage, but you still got to go out there and perform during that.
yeah, you still have to perform. That's right.
And that, would you want the person to win the live fishing tournament league? Like, let's say Stand 3 last year, he went out and won the last. It was right up there the whole year. Went out and won the last tournament to win the cup. That's what he had to do, and that's what he did. Would you want somebody to win the tournament that came in last and didn't catch a fish on the major? That's the big event of the year.
I'm fairly sure me and James got cheated though.
Well, like I said, let's go ahead and table this, and we'll rehash them real quick. That way, it'll get people to think about, and we'll schedule another forum before Catfish Conference. Maybe somebody else got some more proposals we can talk about. But again, I feel like we should go through this year. I will talk to Alex. I'll do my due diligence and just find out, hey, how did you come up with this? What's the benefits? What's the drawbacks? Blah, 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 blah. Because I myself don't know the reason. And so I think that's good on me to I should find that out if I'm going to be one of the leaders in this whole thing going forward. But
one last thing, if you don't mind, you got to remember.
I do mind.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you're gonna get
it. Go ahead.
Remember, their tournaments are 12-hour long, where ours are 5. So they got a longer time to catch that one fish if they do also. So that time has something to do with it also of the tournament lengthwise.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what Alex says. It may not. We got a lot of chat. Anybody been reading it? I think the top 10 with the same point system is the right way to go. That's why it's the championship. It's the Catalina Wine Cooler. I didn't win a tournament. I've lost the whole thing last year. That's the championship. It should have a lot of weight. Top 12 regular season champion based off points. Do a playoffs. 4 get a bye. Robert, you being confusing, man. I'm from South Carolina. If you can't win with a 200, you shouldn't be allowed in the championship. If you can't win with the 200.
So what he's saying is, if you're so far behind that you can't win, you get a 200.
Oh, okay. Well, that would kind of play itself out if we just did top 10. Wow, and I thought that fishing was supposed to be fun. It is fun to talk about. I'm having fun.
Yeah, none of us are mad. I don't think.
Can
I
I step in there real quick here, Kev?
go ahead.
Again, this is a discussion we started at the very beginning. It's a discussion of we want this to grow.
Mhm.
That's why we're discussing things like this of how do we improve it and make it better in the future if
Yep.
we continue it.
Exactly.
I'll go back on mute.
And if we can't discuss it and people refuse to talk about it, then we have nothing. Jody said I still have 100 to replace. Also, the championship being in February, conditions can be brutal for some. Definitely affects versus. Yep, we talked about that earlier. I'm not sure if you were in here. This feels like the government. We didn't come up with the answer. Total points, best 8 finishes, championship worth double points. Someone that does well throughout the year can still clinch regardless. That's kind of how it's set up right now.
Yeah.
True, us West Coast folk don't worry about weather as much, but we don't have consistent quality of fish on our waterways like you guys. Hello,
What's up, bro?
Samson. All right. So just to go back over the pro, this is the number one thing that needs to happen, or none of this is all those moot. To offset the price, we want to do membership fees next year. Why? StreamYard went up by double, and we need to cover the cost for our hosts so that we're not coming out of pocket, at least to help us anyway. And to help awards, which is the softer part of the argument. The first proposal is to have 2 different membership fees: a non-voting member 75 per team, which covers your all your tournament entries, all 12. Voting member is 100, but you get to vote on stuff like we're talking about today. So if you don't like the point system and you don't do your $100, you don't get to vote on it. Blah blah blah. It's things like that. The next one was the number of tournaments. To cut down on them, we had 20 with a championship this year. The league would host 1 per month, starting in March, ending in February. 11 preliminary tournaments, 5 best scores count, and then the championship round with the top 21, which is up for discussion. These are examples of the tournaments we would do. Again, that's arbitrary, but these are the ones that I liked. The time of the tournaments, which wasn't popular, to go to a 5-hour. Sounds like we're going to stick with a 6, but we'll wait till the vote for that. And then tournament registration, communicate, or there'll be consequences, basically, if you consistently drop out without a valid reason.
One last thing, if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
You had said something the other day and we didn't bring it up. I don't know if you purposed it. I should have asked it again. You said something about the captains changing and making.
Oh yeah, Josh Thompson brought that up.
Yeah.
He asked if we could do like 2 team captains or something.
Yes.
So that if somebody's like, if your captain's sick, your team could still get points. So that would have helped Bob. Could help people like Bob and Josh and you.
Would have helped us at one point. Yes.
Yeah. So that's something we can consider if somebody wouldn't mind writing it up. I mean, y'all just want to make me do all the work.
I actually got it wrote down here. That's why I brought it up. I was like,
I forgot. I
didn't know if you just didn't want to talk about it or not. But
no, I want to talk about everything. I just forgot.
But on the detrimental side of that is then somebody they could just say, well, I'll use Scan 3 and I as the example. In the first year, like there was issues that, because we would fish, it was, if you're not fishing, you can't get points, or he's fishing, then there's points there. So the people that only fish by themselves, that would really be detrimental towards them. Just throwing it out there.
They can always get a partner.
Like I said, there's there's a silver lining to everything you do. You're gonna make somebody not upset, but it's not gonna be fair to somebody.
A couple
But it
of
needs
our
to be-
zeros we could have eliminated had I been able to fish by myself because Brandon had other things to do.
So, like for instance, I see what Stan's saying. So Jody, for instance, fishes solo. So if she gets sick, she's just out. Where if Daryl gets sick and he has another captain, his team can still get points.
Yeah.
So that's a valid point. Go ahead, Miss V.
They could assign a sub at the beginning of the year, basically backup captain. If they can't fish for some reason, someone can stand in their place under their
Right.
name.
And that would be the way to do it. But again, what I just said, like if somebody's fishing solo and doesn't have a team, now that's their choice. So you could
That's what I
argue that.
mean. If they're fishing solo, they can have a sub listed on their application, even though they don't fish every week. They would only fish if for some reason Jody couldn't, or if for some reason Stan 3 couldn't. Like on our boat, it's Chris and I always. We always fish it. But for Stan 3, he could have a backup fisherman. For instance, his dad, even though, obviously we Stan as our host and we love him that way. But
Yeah.
like he could fill in.
Yeah.
See, my problem is like I can't fish any first Saturday. I can't do it. And so if y'all put like all 12 of these on the first weekend, I couldn't fish at all. So, but I'm just
Hear
saying,
that, guys?
3 or 4 of them, then Woody could do it or whatever. I actually have to be at church on every first Saturday, so I can't.
So I think the only thing to this is we would have to figure out that solo angler thing, and
It's
the sub thing. I don't know because you're just told it's a totally new thing
Right.
where the team they've been fishing together, like you and Chris have been fishing together this whole time, so you're just as much a part of the team as he is. But if Stan 3 is fishing by himself and he just goes, okay, Dan's going to fish with me today. Dan hadn't been with Stan at all the whole season, so that would be a totally different scenario. But then that's Stan 3's choice, I guess, or Jody's choice, or whoever else is solo to fish solo. So
Sure,
that's
and let's face it, those two wouldn't miss hard. If they miss, there's a darn good reason.
yeah. No, I get it.
I mean that the whole solo thing. I mean that would affect me too. It's me and Telly, but our work schedule prevents us from fishing certain tournaments. And if I'll use Bobcat as an example, if he can be a captain and somebody else can be a captain, and Bob can't fish for some reason, but his team still gets points, well, I get no benefit from that because if Telly and I can't fish, we can't fish.
Right.
That's true.
So there's that. That's why it's up for
Because
discussion.
there's a ton of people out there that don't have other people around where they fish, or
There's
they don't.
nobody around me.
Yeah.
So that's why, and I know it's perfectly okay to talk about things, and I want to be transparent with everything. But that's why the captain's rule was created. The captain's rule was created to keep everything on an even playing field. That's what all the tournament clubs do. They have a designated person, and if that designated person doesn't fish, your team doesn't fish. So that's kind of why it was created in the first.
I get it. As long as they're not all on first weekend, I'm good.
Yeah.
If they
You know
are,
what? That's fair.
So but I'm still down to talk about it. Please think of ways that it could work, because I love Bob and Brandon, and they're both great fishermen individually, and they usually do fish apart, but they decided to do the league together. So that's just something that they just had to do. They had to name a captain. So I guess in our current system, they just have to name whoever they think's not going to be able to fish the most.
I think next year Bob might want to be the captain.
Yeah.
Just saying, Bob.
But yeah, there's a downside to every decision you make, and I just tried to make it easy by following the precedent from another catfish club. And what they've already thought about this, they've already been through it for years, and they've made the mistakes. So we just kind of
even bass tournaments is the same way. They have to do that. So
yep.
Everything.
All right. Anything else? I think we had some great discussion tonight.
Yeah.
And I feel confident that moving forward, we're going to have even more. Hopefully, people that are not in chat or not up here that are in the league will listen later and really think about stuff. Again, I hate to keep coming back to money, but that's what it boils down to. Me and Chad and Brian and Stan basically on Messenger cussing and carrying on because of StreamYard a couple weeks ago. And I just flat out said, I'm not doing it no more. So that's why we started talking about fees. And if we can work it out to where we can not go in our pocket for it, then I think at least not for more than we used to. Let me say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You know.
Especially since YouTube
That's
won't let me monetize any of our
Yeah.
tournaments.
Freddie, if you're listening, you got to change your commercial, bro.
Freddie,
So
you're
Chad
dead.
can get monetized. Yes, Chris. If
Just
you talk
real
about the
quick.
weather, I'm gonna.
Very last thing. What if the weather's bad?
I'm out. I need to get to bed. I can't do
I
it.
was sitting here thinking the same thing, Chris. Glad you asked that.
Did we talk
Well, if the
about
weather's
weather?
bad, you get a substitute captain somewhere else.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
In Louisiana.
And they only get 1 through 27.
You get a substitute teacher, and
I'm
they'll
gonna have somebody in another state fish for me,
yeah.
Mr. Weather's bad.
Creole
think we need to be
my
careful.
substitute.
You can't pick Creole. That's the
I
only
couldn't,
thing.
Jeremy.
That was my first pick.
Yeah. And I think that was
Daryl's gonna
Stan
be-
3's point on that topic there. He said, if it's somebody that's fishing with them normally, that's one thing. But to pick some random person like, hey, it's nice weather in Tennessee. Can you be the captain on my team?
Creole's my team captain.
Yeah, yeah. He's my
I
fill, and
hate Creole.
I'm sick today.
Stop it. He's been claimed.
Any
I'm
other
surprised
apps?
Daryl-
Yeah, they're just not as good as StreamYard, man. Like they're charging this much because they know what they got, pretty much. And I understand on the phone it sucks, but on the computer it's pretty robust. Got a lot of features. But yeah, like I said, if we can, I'm totally into doing it. Even if I don't, if I could just pay what I did last year, I'm okay. I'd rather not pay nothing, but what I paid last year twice is not good. It's not going to happen. So
I feel like you're going to get a lot of people drop out for this. So I think we may not have as many. So we'll have to look at that price just because
Well,
I feel like unless there's the people that are serious, they're the only ones that's really going to take it. People goes, I'll do it just for the fun. I don't think they will.
and that's the thing. We had that discussion. Everybody, and I always sound like a jerk when I do these things, and I apologize, guys. My face is serious, I guess. But like people want these type of things, but some people don't want to support them to make them happen. And so, just like the Golden Whiskers, the LFTFL, thankfully, people stepped up and sponsored the Golden Whiskers. And I'm very thankful for that. We're fully funded now. But like the LFTFL, people want it to happen. They have fun with it, but unless they want to step up and help it run, it's going to go away. You can't have your cake and eat it too, right?
and
Hey,
the
Kevin.
object is to try to bring some more anglers into it, some more Ray Ferguson, some more, some of the other ones we're talking. Maybe we can get Micah Burkhart, people like
Yeah.
that. Cat Chats, Joe involved with it.
Well, and we're
That's,
not. Yeah, and just to be honest, we're not talking. Everybody up on the screen is supported, like way beyond anything you need to do. So I appreciate all y'all up here. Even people in chat have supported. So, but yeah, that's the goal, is to get other people involved, and to make it to where we can keep going. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, you may want to just in the Facebook group or something, lay the groundwork, start a poll asking, hey, who is interested in doing this if there is a fee? I mean, you may know that you need to cut back to 2 hosts. I mean, it may, like as Daryl was saying, people may drop off, and we'll just have to build it from there if that happens.
Yeah. Yep. We'll see where it goes. But be thinking about it. The numbers, again, were based off of 40. We had a total of 41 different teams fished this year. I would say that 30 of those No. I said 25 of those are serious. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Stan3 said, I have an idea. Each tournament, $20 entry fee, $10 for monthly payout, $5 in the year pot, $5.
That won't pay for streaming. It's not enough.
Yeah, it won't pay. It won't even get close.
No.
So we're talking about if we pay 4 people StreamYard totally, we're talking like $3,500 we need, pretty much. So, we're talking about a big chunk. But anyway, I think we've kicked the horse a bunch. I appreciate everybody. I'm going to pray us out, and then we will see everybody at a different time. Heavenly Father, I thank you for these people up on screen. I thank you for people in chat. I thank you for the opportunity that we get to take advantage of your resources, those that you provided us, Lord. And at the end of the day, this is just for fun, and I just pray that everyone would have a soft heart and a soft hand and an easy mind about everything we're talking about. And Lord, if it's blessed by you, it will happen. And if it's not of your will, then Lord, we'll move on and we'll still have a great life and be all friends and just do something different. So I thank you for everything you're going to do. We pray for your will. We pray for everyone's health. Lord, those who need you, Lord, we pray for them. And everybody who couldn't be here tonight, we pray that they're doing well as well, Lord. So we thank you. We praise you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, everybody. Till next time. Happy fishing.
Can I pet that
Night,
dog?
everyone.